Hello, this is Leisha Breen with Journey to Greatness, 365 days to your best year yet, and I hope you are doing well. Over the next few days, I want to talk about 3 feelings that can really stop you from pursuing your goals, from focusing on what's important to you, and doing right by yourself. Those 3 feelings are anger, especially when you are ruminating in it, anxiety, and jealousy. And today I want to talk about jealousy. Tomorrow we'll talk about anxiety, and then we'll go on into the anger piece. But for most of us, if not all of us, jealousy is a really difficult emotion. And I think it may be one of the hardest ones to cope with. Like the emotions of fear and anger, jealousy is deep-rooted in the part of our brain that's the reptilian part of our brain. It's the ancient part of our brain. And this part of our brain is actually responsible for survival. You will see evidence of emotions a lot like jealousy among all mammals. I have a cat named Kitty Noodle and a dog named Flower. And when Kitty Noodle sees me giving attention to Flower, well, Kitty Noodle will jump all over my apartment and make all kinds of noises and knock things over so that he will get attention. And then when Flower sees me giving attention to Kitty Noodle, well, Flower will get really jealous and start snapping at Kitty Noodle. So jealousy is a very natural state. And human beings, they can react very much the same way. If one person gets attention that the other one isn't getting, he or she's going to become jealous. It's often really irrational. And for example, I have a friend who is really jealous of his ex-wife's husband. But what you have to get is that the ex-wife's husband is dead. But my friend is really jealous of him. You've got to admit that's crazy. So jealousy often goes hand in glove with feelings of anger and shame, and it's a really complex mix of emotions. As I said, feelings of jealousy are as old as humankind. And in our current society, this really shows up because we're expected to live up to something that I call boobs, butts, and a Bentley. If you don't have a fake pair of boobs and you're not driving a Bentley and you don't have a butt that stands out, a mile behind you, well, then you're just not cool. And we have all of these very competitive rules that go along with, especially being in the United States, that we're supposed to live up to. And if we're not living up to that, if we don't live up to this message, you have to be stronger and more beautiful and more successful and better in all areas of existing, well, that creates a lot of stress for a lot of us. And we tend to think of other people as managing everything well, and therefore they are succeeding in indeed being better, in indeed being more beautiful and more successful. I sometimes call that trance of inferiority, a trance because we are not even aware of it. It's so deeply entrenched. And we're all made to have emotions. But what differs from one person to the other person is the extent to which they let this bother them. This has a lot to do with your childhood and attachment. People who experience healthy attachment, who were cared for with love and understanding, will generally be triggered less quickly. Now, that doesn't mean that it's hopeless, that you're a hopeless case if you are suffering from jealousy. What helps is paying focused attention to the emotion without judging it. Then it loses its impact. Look, when you do this, you leave out the thoughts about other people and take a look at what's really going on in your body. There's 2 steps to what I'm talking about, and it starts with not condemning yourself. Jealousy is really embarrassing. It's kind of humiliating inside. It's painful. It's a painful experience, but you can't do anything about it, and it's not your fault. So look upon on it with self-compassion. Tell yourself, I can't do anything about this. Next, pay attention to it. What is the jealousy trying to say to you? Is it trying to say that you're not good enough? That the other person is better than you? Look at those thoughts you have. Discover what a relief it is. Then you will find your power and your self-confidence and be able to free yourself from the grip of jealousy. Now, I hope I've given you something to think about. Let go of jealousy. And if you're feeling jealous, or you're going to feel jealous in the next few days or weeks, take a few minutes, step back and tap into it and find out why. Why are you feeling jealous? What are the reasons behind it? And give yourself a virtual hug. Tell yourself that you're beautiful and that you love yourself. And take that little girl, that little boy inside of you and give it some TLC and tell it that it's okay. But find out what the root is. What is it that's making you feel so inadequate? Now, again, I hope I've given you something to think about today. Be bold, be brave, and always, always be your authentic self. Until we meet again.